What's good, Commanders fans? Just a quick video here, just announcing the Brandon Aiyuk trade. I know you guys have heard about this because a lot of people were commenting on my previous video. He got a 4-year, $120 million deal, $76 million guaranteed. I was listening to a San Francisco 49ers beat reporter, Grant Cohn, and he said that the deal was on the table on August 10th, that Brandon Aiyuk knew about this deal and was offered this deal back in August 10th. What day is it today? August 29th. So that's 19 days ago that he got that deal on the table, and he took his time taking that deal, didn't show up to, or he did show up to training camp and sat in, and then he just didn't show up to practice yesterday, and then now he decides to sign this deal. I don't know if Stephen Curry motivated him to sign the deal. I'm just joking there with Steph Curry getting that $62 million deal. But the saga is finally over, guys. When Adam Schefter said today on the Pat McAfee show, he said they're not in, he shook his head aggressively saying no and disapproval when the Commanders were brought up by Pat McAfee. And this shows again that Adam Schefter was right. I mean, there's some times where Adam Schefter is wrong, but recently with the Commanders, whatever connection he has with Adam Peters or whoever's in the front office, he knows what he's talking about, you know. And Ben Johnson, he knew Ben Johnson was not going there, and Mike McDonald was not coming to DC, and he knew Brandon Aiyuk was not coming to DC either. And I would have loved to see Jaden Daniels play with his buddy, but at the end of the day, I do think Brandon Aiyuk was using the Commanders as leverage a little bit in kind of his plan to hold out, and some of the theatrics that receivers do, taking the team's name off their Instagram, saying that they'd rather play with this team and that team, or play with this quarterback and that quarterback, and go on the Pivot podcast with Jaden Daniels and take selfies with Jaden Daniels and be on FaceTime with Jaden Daniels. And he might have used us or the Commanders as leverage and the Steelers as leverage as other teams that would be willing to pay. Now, this is something that somebody tweeted out. It said that Diana Rossini tweeted this out. She said the 49ers were only willing to trade Brandon Aiyuk if they could get a top 5 receiver to replace him. I did hear that too, that they wanted Terry McLaurin in return, and that's a heck no. Heck no, I'm not giving you Terry McLaurin for Brandon Aiyuk. When you can argue that Terry McLaurin is a better receiver than Brandon Aiyuk. I mean, Brandon Aiyuk is he's a darn good receiver. He would have helped this team for sure. But it's not worth it to trade your best receiver that you're paying $23 million to pay for another receiver that is really in the same tier or a little bit below Terry, and pay him $7 million more per year and more guaranteed money as well. But I am happy for Brandon Aiyuk. I'm happy that he got paid. And the receivers are probably happy about that too. He got the money that he asked for. He wanted to get the same amount of money that Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid, which is $30 million per year. Tyreek Hill's getting $30 million per year. CeeDee Lamb, $34 million per year. Justin Jefferson, $35 million per year. A.J. Brown, $32. Jalen Waddle, $28 million per year. Devontae Adams, $28 million per year. And then Terry's a little bit down the line with $23 million a year because he got his deal a couple years ago. So I'm just happy that Terry is a guy that's not going to be like looking at other guys' contract and then try to hold out and be upset. You know, you look at Trent Williams, who's not a receiver, but Trent Williams, once again, who a couple years ago was complaining about money, once again, he's complaining about money again and threatening to hold out. So, but I'm just happy it's over with Brandon Aiyuk because he did a lot of odd stuff, man. He really did. He did a lot of odd stuff. He definitely dragged this out, but I get players trying to get their leverage and get their money and get paid. Diana Rossini said the Broncos offered a 3rd-round pick to Denver. Or no, the Niners offered a 3rd-round pick to Denver for Cortland Sutton, and then would have dealt Aiyuk to the Steelers, but the Broncos declined the offer, I guess, for the 3rd-round pick. So that's the only traction that they got. They didn't really get much traction with the Commanders and Adam Peters before the draft. That was like the only time they really had legit talks between the Commanders. They did call the Commanders reportedly last week per Ari, trying to check in and whatnot. But Adam Peters is good over here, man. It's a rebuilding year. It's a research and development kind of year. He's not looking to make any splashes or big moves. He's fine with going into the year with Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and a lot of questionable guys. And even Noah Brown, we don't know for sure if he's going to have another good year, another 500-yard season with this team. So it's Terry, and then after that, it's a lot of question marks on the wide receiver position. So we'll see how this shakes out. But Adam just does not want to make a lot of moves. I think next year is going to be where he's more aggressive when you have T. Higgins as a free agent, DeAndre Hopkins as a free agent, what I'm not banging on the table for. Chris Godwin is a free agent. Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, DeAndre Hopkins, and who else? I had a list. Stephon Diggs, who I don't think we're going to get. Amari Cooper's a free agent. I would love to see Amari Cooper here, even though he's getting a little bit older. DJ Chark, I'm not big on. Brandon Cooks is another number 2 wide receiver, but I wouldn't mind him next to Terry. Deontay Johnson would be a good number 2 next to Terry. Hollywood Brown would be a good number 2, and you got the connection with Cliff Kingsbury with Hollywood Brown, then Tyler Boyd, who's like a really good number 3 receiver for the most part. So it's a solid list next year in free agency. We'll see what happens. So I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're just gonna wait on Brandon Aiyuk next year," but that's not the case. The deal is done, and we're not gonna be able to get him at all. So we got to pivot, and then there's the draft too. Colorado's playing right now. Let me look at the stats for Colorado. Let me see what Travis Hunter's doing. And like I said, I may not see you guys tomorrow with another video. I'll probably be back on Monday with a live stream. So if I don't see you guys, have a great weekend and enjoy Labor Day. Put something on the grill for sure. Some ribs or something like that. Hell's Commanders. Peace.